the need to, word can't, have to, try, and impossible. If you remove those words out of your vocabulary, you're probably going to be achieving a lot more.
Welcome to the Gym and Tonic Podcast with me, Tim Chase. And today I am joined by the absolute legend and the Mr. Shreds himself, personal trainer, Andre. How you doing, buddy?
That's bad, man. You good?
I am very well, mate. You're making me feel fat just sitting here. I've just been looking through your social media channels and I'm just like, mate, there's enough veins and shreds there to make most of us jealous.
Well, obviously, that's just like still coming off that last shoot that we did. So I'm still holding on to a little bit of the shreds as much as possible through lockdown. So
yeah, how's it been?
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, just trying to keep the volume high as possible. Also working with a lot of my clients, so doing a lot of online stuff with my clients as well, doing online classes, and obviously trying to stick to my meal prepping as much as possible as well. So I've got new goals for next year already set. So everything's had a plan in place coming out of that shoot as well, which a lot of people don't do, which that's probably the mistake I've made the last few times. So I wasn't going to have it this year. So I made sure.
We'll go into that in a minute because I know that's the first thing I kind of want to speak to you about is what's kind of next. But tell everyone, who is Andre? Tell us a bit more about yourself.
Yeah, so I've been in the UK since 2007, originally from South Africa, where I worked as a coach. I coached rugby, athletics and cricket. Always been in the gym, always been in sports. And then when I came to the UK, I did my PT qualification. First job I got was in Virgin Active back in the day. And then in 2012, we started our own personal training business, myself and the guys from my PT. And we haven't looked back since. So we've grown since then. Obviously, myself was grown as a PT, believed in investing in myself, my knowledge. So since then, I've qualified as a level 4 strength conditioning coach. And then in 2018, I did my first photo shoot prep. Originally, it was supposed to be I just wanted to see, like, wasn't really going anywhere with my own training. A lot of sort of things I was more focused with my clients, but I felt like myself, I was a bit lost with where I wanted to go with things. So got myself a coach, and I sort of just want to see where I could take my physique to. So results kicked in pretty quick, and then that developed into a photo shoot. Did my first photo shoot. A couple of the guys in the gym we worked with had done a similar thing, so that sort of inspired me as well. And then I did my first PCA first timer show in 2019 in June, and obviously that was sort of more, I like the competitive side of things because, like I said, I'm quite sporty and stuff, and I don't really get a chance to play rugby anymore or anything like that. So I wanted to do something that can sort of challenge me. I know I'm in the gym all the time. I like making food. I like prepping food. So I knew that wouldn't be a problem. So I took down that challenge. And again, I used it to inspire my clients and also just to try and challenge myself. Also to learn. And I learned quite a lot from that. Like, I think that's probably the one of the biggest things that you will learn from. If you put yourself in that sort of environment, obviously it is quite an extreme place to go to. And also I believe being obese is also very extreme, but obviously I think if you take it the other way, you can find that balance, where that balance is.
Yeah. What were you like before then? So you were you in good shape before you did this photo shoot prep and competing, or were you?
I was obviously not in like the best shape. My body fat was obviously quite high. Like you get like the general PT who doesn't really focus on themselves or anything like that. You can obviously look a bit fluffy.
Yeah, lots of goals as well, because you said you were doing strength conditioning and then you were probably trying to stay in shape. You were probably trying to fuel performance and go out and have drinks.
Yeah. So I was doing, obviously I do basically everything. So I like to tap into a bit of everything. I enjoy learning, and I believe learning is a big part of being a personal trainer. And if you're not delving into those environments, into those things, you're not going to progress anyway. And you can't expect your clients to progress either if you're not willing to progress. So obviously with the strength conditioning stuff, I did want to get into working with athletes again, like I did with my coaching. But obviously that didn't really work out with the gym that we worked at because it wasn't really set up for that. But then I got into sort of the prepping side of things, and obviously taking your physique. Obviously, see where we can push it to. So yeah, after that show we did in June, that was my first time I've done that. And I remember that's when I first met you, that you did me help me with the posing.
Yeah, that was a while back. That was I think your first outing in the weird world of fitness modeling and competing. So before, I want to quickly ask you about your sort of clients. Are you sort of preferring now the kind of fat loss journey rather than the strength conditioning journey? And the reason I asked that is because the guest I had on the last podcast, he's a strength conditioning coach. He has also competed previously as well, but he's pretty much 90% strength conditioning. That's kind of where he's at, and he loves working with people that want to improve their sporting performance. Do you feel you're now preferring being able to work with the fat loss and sort of general population rather than more specialized sportsmen?
Yeah, I'd like to get back into working with high level athletes and stuff. Obviously, I need to be putting myself in that environment a bit more in order to do that. But I think I've learned a lot from strength conditioning, the way sort of working with periodization and stuff like that. And I've applied all those things I've learned to my programs and stuff with my clients. So obviously with all the systems I've set up, the way we sort of track their progress and how we get them to laying down those initial foundations, laying down those habits. So there's a lot more coaching involved. It's not just sort of some sort of simple prep like you would normally do with. It's obviously not simple, but obviously it's not so just black and white with like dieting down for a photo shoot or something like that. So
most of your clients on that, are they all on that kind of same path at the moment as you, or have you got clients all different?
Obviously, not everyone's on the same path as me, but obviously I've got a lot of clients I've got clients I've been training for like more than 10 years. Obviously they've become my friends, but they obviously enjoy training, they enjoy working with me. I do provide a lot of education in what I do with my online program. But obviously they've seen what I can do, and I've taken other people, and that's inspired them. So when I first started, when they did that first photo shoot, it was me and another girl I work with, Jo. You know Jo from the studio. Yeah. She did her photo shoot first, and that sort of inspired me to go. And then one of our clients, she was inspired by that, and she did her first photo shoot. And she first started, she was over 103 kilograms. And then for her photo shoot, she was in about 77 kgs. So, and that was over a whole year. So her goals evolved, and that was also just like talking and coaching through that. And but that took her to a whole other level with her physique, and not only just her physique, but also the way she looked at nutrition and her mindset and all those kind of things. So
the systematic approach you've got is pretty incredible. And I know for anyone that doesn't know kind of what you've been doing over the last few years, the main thing that I notice is that you're currently using the photo shoots as that little driver, that end goal, rather than what a lot of people are doing it for is for the photos for Instagram, for the likes. And you're really doing it to say, we don't really need a photo shoot, but it's a nice thing to aim for. And it's something where, you've got a few clients that then look great in a photo shoot, and then all of their friends and family are inspired, and it's almost like it's breeding. Everyone's just seeing each other's success. Like, I saw your last shoot, and then I'm thinking, oh my God, it looks incredible. And maybe I should start, booking something in the future. So, sort of talk me through how are you keeping your clients on track to these shoots? Is there any I know you've got systems in place. Do you want to sort of talk me through roughly kind of what you're doing when you get a new client or with an existing client?
So not everyone goes into trying to, the initial goal is to go for a photo shoot like that. What I do try and encourage is having a specific sort of deadline or time frame. So I do work with a 8-week or a 12-week working phases, as you would do with an SSC program. Yeah. And then in that 12 weeks, obviously depends on where the client's start point is. Some people have a lot worse start point where they are very, very stressed out. They've got loads of underlying issues. Weight loss isn't really the main thing to start with, but then we focus on laying down foundations, working on habits. So looking at their sleep, looking at their stress management, looking at the nutrition, just trying to keep it really, really basic. So the initial phase is trying to build up adherence as much as possible. So I don't go straight into massive crazy deficits and stuff like that. I try and give them a good amount of food so they're not hungry, they're not tired, actually getting more food than they were before. And then once I've got the adherence up, then we can look to, and obviously see the weights coming down, and they see, oh, weights, I'm dropping, losing weight, I'm eating so much food, and I'm moving more, I'm sleeping better, I feel better, I feel amazing, and I'm seeing changes. And then we can look at, and then those goals will evolve. So we do reassess goals sort of every 6 weeks. And then we will obviously take it to the next level. So it depends on where they want to go. But always try and encourage my clients to have a sort of target where they can work toward. It can be a sporting event even. So like it could be a marathon, it could be a half marathon, a 5K run, anything like that. I want something specific we are going to head towards. Obviously, then you can track all those things on the way there. So you can track their progress. You can see how they're progressing. And I use an app called Trainerize.
Okay.
And I've got all my systems set up in there. And with if they use that app correctly, then obviously you can pull so much information from that. You can actually show them, okay, this is what's happening. If your goals for us, we track trends. So we can see them in the calorie deficit. So we get them to weigh themselves every day. But obviously we're not focusing on the weight. We're focusing on their trend, basically.
Yeah.
So are they in the calorie deficit? Are they maintaining? Are they increasing? What's happening?
Yeah. What happens if, you get plenty of people coming in the gym or talking to you that may want that extra sort of help and push and advice, guidance, but they haven't really got a clear goal. And, you've probably seen it and heard it a lot. What are you training for? I don't know. Are you someone who's going to try and really push to find out what the real goal is? Or do you work with people who just want to be generally fitter? Or are you like, no, we need the goal, otherwise we're not going forward?
Always definitely try and push. It has to be something specific. So a lot of people come in, obviously they don't know what their goal is because they don't know what they can achieve. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I help them get there. So obviously there's initial, I send out a questionnaire where then they have to fill in originally before they go into the program. And in there we discuss specifically what they want to achieve. And then obviously it goes from there. But obviously everything I try and do, I do preach, and what I do post on my social media is a specific sort of program. So it's going to be fat loss. It can be muscle gain also. But originally, or what I try and get my clients is to get to that first sort of checkpoint, like transformation checkpoint, where they've gone as far as they can, and we've pushed as hard as we can, and then obviously we'll take them on to the next level where it becomes more of a lifestyle. So they're investing into the program, and obviously then we'll keep obviously first focus on education, and making sure that they are going to keep progressing. So then we can obviously reverse diet, if whatever sort of phase you're going to go into. But then it's going to be, because everything's working so well, your body is working optimally. Whatever we do, it's going to do well. Yeah. So I've looked at a study where they looked at people who dieted, like so many people diet, and they worked out that 95% of people put the weight back on after they dieted. So that's pretty much everyone. So only 5% of people actually keep the weight off. So that sort of was a bit of a shock to me. And that's basically one of the things I want to counteract with, especially with my clients. So if they get to that point where they've lost the weight, I want to make sure they keep their weight off. And I know
you're looking at that almost last from what you're saying. So you're, that 95% of people that are dieting and are not getting results, you're almost saying we're not even going to make you part of those 95, because we're going to firstly focus on your adherence, your sleep, your stress, and ultimately your mood and your well-being. And as a result, you're going to start to see the results you want to see. So you may see results and you haven't even ticked the box of I'm in a diet.
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't realize you're in one almost.
Yeah. It depends. Some people also, I've worked with clients as well who can also be like in a rush. Yeah. Some people want to work too quick. They want to see only focus on the scales and stuff like that. And you have to keep teaching them. It's not about that. There's a bigger picture. You need to lay down these foundations first in order to make them sustainable, because that's what a crash diet is. A crash diet is something that's not going to be sustainable. Everyone has tried it, and obviously they're going to put the weight back on again. So I want to try and counteract that. Yeah. So
yeah, makes sense. That makes sense. Before we move on, so you mentioned stress, sleep, food, training, adherence. Have you got one that's the most important one that you're thinking, right, that's what you need to get nailed on the head first?
Adherence is probably the key. It's key. Consistency. If you're not consistent in your approach.
Tips to make So someone's listening to this now, and we're all the same. Well, we're not all the same, but most people are going to say, right, next week I'm going to start on Monday. I'm going to train 5 days a week. I'm going to smash it. Like, how on earth is someone actually going to do it? How are we going to make someone actually do that rather than just saying they're going to do it? Because we're all guilty of it.
No, well, the thing is, you need a plan. If you haven't got a plan, it's not going to work. Yeah. So you need a way to, everyone says, if you have a goal, if you haven't got a way to track that goal, to measure it, to see if you are actually working that plan and working towards that goal, it's literally just going to be up in the air, and you're not going to know if you're achieving, you're not going to know if you're doing well or not. So you need to put a plan in place, and it has to be tracked. So obviously you need to draw up your plan. You have to have a deadline, making sure you have a good start point also. So you need to work out your calories, put yourself in the deficit, and then you look at your training and your movement around that. Obviously your NEAT and your NEPA. So NEAT is like your general activity. If it's quite low, if you know you're quite sedentary in your lifestyle, then you need to plan movement. So going for walks, adding cardio to your plan, especially now during lockdown, like walking, probably the easiest thing we can do.
Are you giving people a target of what to do, or are you just saying go and enjoy it? Go out once a day, twice a day, or are you saying this many steps, this amount of mileage?
Our clients basically targets each day. So they basically get a to-do list they have to do every day.
That's good.
They complete, so they can literally tick it off on the app. And then at the end of the week, we assess. So we do a check-in at the end of each week. And we assess their progress. What have they done? What haven't they done? We identify potential hurdles that are coming up.
Right. So this is a good one then. So this is, I think, could be the biggest take home. So there's a to-do list. So people are going to be like, right, I've seen Andre. He's an absolute shredded mofo. To-do list. What would be the kind of things that someone think, if someone was now going to just start tomorrow trying to get in shape, what sort of 3, 4, 5 things, or however many it be, would you say, right, these are the things, just as a basic, that you just need to be ticking every day? So
ticking every day, checking your weight, tracking your weight, yeah. And the goal with tracking the weight daily should be to track your trend, to see if you can actually, if your goal is fat loss, by the end of the week, you should have lost a kilogram, basically. You're aiming to lose a pound a week.
I'm the same as you. People say don't track weight, but I'm like, if we're using tape measures, we're using photos, we're using how you feel, your sleep, your stress, the weight. We've now got a lot of different things to look at.
Because we know those things will fluctuate, yeah?
Yeah.
But if you're tracking photos, if you're tracking your weight, you're tracking your trend, you're doing your measurements, you can see your clothes fit looser, all these different things, then one of those things will fluctuate, the other one will show us progression, yeah? So if we see changes each week, that's going to keep you motivated, you're going to feel inspired, and you know it's working, basically, yeah? And that's a big thing, because people make it too vague. And obviously, if you don't know something's working, then how are you going to progress, basically, yeah?
Yep.
So I like things to be planned out, and it has to be sort of the same sort of things every day.
Buy scales, get on the scales, fasted, have a wee, naked, on the scales.
First thing in the morning, and then boom, put it into your tracker. Even if you don't have sort of trainerized account or anything like that, you can use it. It's an app called Happy Scales.
Oh, okay, you said this. I use Notes on the iPhone.
There's an app, there's a wicked app you can do, Happy Scales.
Happy Scales.
It's actually a trend tracking app.
Right. Everyone download Happy Scales.
And then that way you can use that, and that can track your trend, basically, yeah? So if your goal is to lose weight, you want to see, basically, you'll see the fluctuations every day, but you know at the end of each week, you'll hit a new low, and you'll see basically your start point will be there, your end point's there. That's basically a straight line down, but all along that, you'll see the weight's going to fluctuate up and down, up and down, up and down, but slowly, if it's tracking down, eventually you're going to get to where you want to get to, yeah? So you know, okay, in 12 weeks, I would have lost 12 kilos. Yeah? If your deficit is a kg a week, which is very sustainable, so basically a pound a week, and then just keep hitting that, and then you'll get there. Obviously, if people have a shorter term goal of 6 weeks or 8 weeks, it's going to be a bit more aggressive. But I reckon a 12-week phase is perfect for anyone. The slower you do it, the slower you do it, the better. And obviously, you are sustaining more muscle. Obviously, the biggest thing is people struggle with is maintaining muscle tissue whilst in a deficit. Especially if it's a newbie person who's just come into it, the chance of you actually building muscle tissue in that phase is probably quite good, because if you're quite new to training, You could potentially build some muscle, but your goal should always be to retain as much muscle tissue as possible.
Yeah.
Your
So
body.
nothing drastic. I mean, so you're doing the weight every week. That's your first to do thing on the to do list. Any particular amount of weight that you're saying is too much or too little? What are your parameters? Because people, they always do it. Like I said, I'm going to train 7 days a week. I'm going to eat 500 calories a day, and you're like, I see you lasting 4 daes.
So you would no one could last anything drastic as that. So,
okay, would you say half kilo a week is about max for you?
Yeah, it's a pound a week. Yeah, it's half kilo. Yeah,
pound a week. Yep. Yeah. Cool.
So a pound a week, it's sustainable. It's not so aggressive, and then you're more likely to stick to your plan if you aim for that.
That's cool, like that. The other things on the to-do list.
Movement, tracking movement, so you can track your steps.
Yeah.
So I would say recommend a minimum 10,000 steps per day starting.
And this includes, I was having a discussion with someone the other day. Someone was being prepped for a show in a few weeks, and they've been given 15,000 steps a day, and they get on the bike for an hour, and they're like, oh yeah, but it doesn't count as steps. And I'm like, I don't know about you, but on a bike for an hour, that's the equivalent of probably going out for a walk for an hour. So
yeah,
you've probably got to factor those steps in, even if you've been on the bike or some other form of cardio, surely.
I would always say steps is like your NEAT, yeah?
Yeah.
So that's like basically your general activity. You want to keep it relatively high, yeah? But if you're using your steps as your cardio, then that should be your cardio then. So if you're going to say, okay, 20,000 steps a day, that's going to be like freaking walking around loads, man. That's going to be like 3-4 hours.
So 10,000 steps excluding your cardio session.
Yeah, 10,000 steps is about an hour and 20 minutes, yeah?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, so an hour 20-minute walk is about 10,000 steps. So it's like, so 2 hours and 40 minutes is going to be about 20,000. But I know, like Mike, you had him on your
30,000, I think he was doing.
Yeah, he was doing loads, but that's all he did. He didn't do cardio. He was on the bike. He wasn't on the Stairmaster. He was just out walking.
And the power of walking daily is not only amazing for your mental health, which is another podcast in itself, but those extra calories you're burning, like you said, from that NEAT is just mad. And always people say I haven't got time. Well, you're walking, and there's plenty of times in the day where you can just walk to the shops or whatever. You've got your phone call. I do that all the time. I have a phone call when I'm walking somewhere. Yeah. It's literally 2 birds, 1 stone.
Especially now during lockdown, also you can do meetings over the phone. You go for a walk outside, take your meeting with you if it's not on camera, and then you can do it outside. So, I always tell my clients if that's something that's difficult to do, get it done first thing in the morning. So the hardest thing is get it done first thing.
Have you heard that saying about something like eat that frog or something? Have you heard about this?
Mm-mm.
There was a YouTube video. I saw it the other day. I don't know. It's a book, and it's basically says if you eat a frog first thing in the morning, it's going to be the worst thing you'll do all day, probably. So that's the idea: is do the worst thing first, and the rest of the day will be better.
That makes sense. I like that. That's really good.
I used to train first thing for that reason. Then I started doing my cardio first thing, and now I've started doing my stretching because I do not, mate. All right, well, we'll move on. The next to-do list.
So track your movement, and obviously then like your workouts. Yeah, so then it's your planned exercise. So you need a program. If you're going to the gym without a program, you're going to be struggling. So always make sure you know exactly what you're going to do. So the night before, look at your programs. You know when you're going to the gym, then you know exactly what you're doing, not wasting any time. If you're spending longer than an hour in the gym, obviously you're going. So there's something wrong there. So I'll say maximum hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half in the gym. But with your workout, but obviously you need to know what you're doing when you get in there. You're not wasting time. You're not on your phone. Not taking too long recoveries in between sets and stuff like that. So
I've got 2 questions for you on this before. I'm just going to keep interrupting on your to-do list. I'm going to forget what they were now. The first one was, do you think you can train at home? Obviously, you're in lockdown at the moment. Effectively for, let's say, a body transformation, fat loss goal. Do you think you really do need to get into the gym? Or
I did it during the first lockdown. So I was prepping for June show, and I freaking got that. I got about 84 kilograms. I was shredded, man. I was literally about 2-3 weeks out, and then they cancelled the show. So that was just literally, I had exercise bike at home. I was walking every morning first thing. I had a couple of kettlebells, had a barbell with a couple of plates. Luckily, the gym I worked at allowed me to take some stuff home.
So you think it's doable, but it's probably more of a short term. So 4 weeks for this lockdown is definitely doable for anyone. If anyone's saying, "Oh, I can't do it because I haven't got a gym," then you're thinking, "Well, actually, you can."
That's just an excuse, man. Don't have a gym. If you really want to get where you want to get to, you'll make a plan. Literally, even walking, like we said, walking with notes. That's help you get burn more calories. Yeah. So getting a kettlebell, just doing bodyweight squats, bodyweight movements, push-ups. There's so many workouts on YouTube you can look at. I do online coaching. I do an online program for my clients. So I give them bonus workouts. We do 3 workouts a week, which is through Zoom. They literally, one lady has just got a pair of bands. She has sick workouts with just using a set of bands. So there's no excuse with
basically just get on with it.
Just get on. Yeah, like in the UK, when I first moved, it was constantly raining all the time. And like I know in South Africa, if it rains, everything stops. I wait for the rain to go past. But in the UK, imagine if every time the rain to stop, nothing will get done. So you just got to get on with it.
There is. I know. I popped to the shops the other day, and I came back. My parents were like, "Oh, you must be soaked," and I'm like, "Not really," because it sounds heavy, but you go out there and it's not that bad. So
exactly.
put your coat on, get out.
If you let everything stop you, every single little thing that gets in the way, if you let it stop you, then you're never gonna progress. So I know like a lot of people during the first lockdown thought it was gonna be quite short. And I thought, I was gonna take 4 weeks off. And then it ended up being 8 weeks. Then it got longer and longer. And eventually, there was trouble. They were like their metabolism slowed right down. They gained loads of weight really, really quick. And their fitness levels dropped.
Oh,
and then
God.
the gym opened again. It was panic stations.
It was like January again. I'm going to throw a third question, and I still haven't even asked you the second one yet. Have you got any tips for training at home? For like any creative exercises or ways that people can train to achieve their goals in their house with what they've got access to? Because that's the hardest thing. Everyone's like, "Oh, I'll do press ups and I'll do sit ups," and then everyone's like, "Oh, now what?"
Just try and keep your workouts as simple and as effective as possible. So using like a format, create a format, like a working format. So like 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. Using triple sets, giant sets to try and increase volume. Yeah. I find using timed sets is probably the best instead of counting reps. So you work at a time. So trying to keep, and then you can focus on your technique. So time and attention is one thing you can focus on, to slowing the movement down. Using full range of motion. The one thing I found during the first lockdown is my technique improved massively.
Yeah.
I was obviously focusing a lot more on mobility and range of motion, and my squats improved massively.
Goblet, you've got the kettlebell. That's a prime example, isn't it? Like a Bulgarian split squat, back leg on the sofa, hold a kettlebell, whatever it may be, and you go down for like, let's say 6 seconds and hold it for 2 or 3.
Then we can use like isometric contractions. You can use those different variables that are often neglected in the gym. Yeah. So people always obviously look at, if you do want to keep progressing, use progressive overload as a form of progression. And people always tend to use resistance first when they want to overload the body. That's probably the last thing you would want to use. So always need to look at time and attention. You look at you can look at decreasing your recovery times, increasing the amount of sets, all these different kind of things, increasing your repetitions before you start using resistance. So during this time now, if you haven't got heavy weight, you can't increase resistance. What else are you going to use? So you have to focus on that technique and the range of motion and slowing things down. And you'll probably find that your technique will improve a lot more.
Yeah, so be open-minded and look at it as like a new challenge with a new stimulus, rather than going, "Oh, it's crap, I can't get in and do my usual bench press and leg press." Be like, "Oh, this is actually an excuse for me to do some exercise I haven't done before." Because no one likes it when you get an exercise. When people come to you as a trainer and they go, "Oh, I want a plan for this," and you give it to them and they go, "Oh, didn't really want that." They wanted the plan that they wanted. Yeah. They wanted that plan that was, I don't know, biceps 3 times a week, whatever it may be. And you give them what's going to really work. And they're like, "I think I'll just do my own one."
Exactly. Yeah. That is, sometimes people just want to do what they feel comfortable with, and mostly what they know. But sometimes the hardest things, the things we don't enjoy, is probably what we need the most. So if you are going to be, if now's a good time to focus on your technique. But like I said, try and plan your workouts. So you can use different ways to do that. So obviously creating a format for yourself, a good format is 40 or 45 seconds working, short recoveries, and then use giant sets, triple sets. You can even do like the CrossFit style stuff, like the WODs and stuff are pretty good. So like using EMOMs like every minute on the minute. So you can do a 12-minute hit. So hit workouts are really good.
Have you got any on your social medias at all? Have you got any workouts on there, or are you doing them all?
I've got a YouTube channel.
Okay.
We've got over like, I think I've got nearly 60, 70 workouts on there at the moment.
Oh, wow. Okay. What's the YouTube channel? I'll put the links.
Yeah, I'll drop the links with you later.
Yeah.
I've done all the workouts during lockdown. And you can see when they first started off, they were quite sort of basic, but they've evolved quite quickly.
Perfect, because you should be able to pick it up anywhere. That's what I love about YouTube is I started doing yoga in the last lockdown, 30-day yoga, and I went back to this lady's like first one from like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, lesson one. Yeah.
How they evolved and everything like that. So obviously, as my graphic design and my editing skills got a little bit better, so did my videos. But it's literally just me live. I'm training with on the video as well. It's not me just standing there talking. It's like me working out with you. And it's like all my clients say actually it feels like it's live. They forget that it's actually recorded.
Yeah.
Some good music on. I always encourage people to put some good music on and just go along with the workout. And you can do body weight. You can use one kettlebell. Normally all the workouts is using one piece of kit.
That's awesome. Okay. Well,
pretty intense.
Check that out. That's good. And my third question I still on the to-do list about training programs. When the gyms reopen them, or for anyone in another country like Wales who is lucky enough to have access to a gym, how are you structuring this 1 hour workout for, let's say, fat loss? Because this is always the big question. Are we doing cardio? Are we doing weights? Are we doing circuits? What's your kind of structure roughly?
Yeah, again, so it depends. Obviously, when they for newbies just starting out on the program, the workouts are quite basic. So just working push pull legs, or upper lower rest. So whatever their training splits are, I always try and get their training splits. So I say training 2 days on, 1 day off, or 3 days on, 1 day off. Okay. And then apply their meal plans to that as well. So they're training their meals, rest their meals, and they just follow that sequence and they keep repeating that as they go along. So the workouts are quite basic, lots of compound movements, focus on technique first. And then the workouts will progress as we go along. So that I'll progressively overload the workouts, which people should be doing always. So then you're increasing your sets, are like increasing resistance, whatever is in that phase. But generally in the first phase is obviously, again, it's the same way you lay down the foundations nutritionally and mindset wise, you should be laying down foundations with your workouts. So focusing on the basics. So you're looking at always, even with my clients, initial one-to-one session, always focus on movement assessment, assessing how they move, and then I build up a warm-up based on what they need and help them move better and help to sort of improve their training. Not everyone's got perfect posture or anything like that. So, but if it is causing you pain, and it's gonna, there's no ways you're gonna progress if you are inhibited in some way through the hips or through your ankles or in your spine even. So you need to obviously make sure you are mobilizing beforehand. And I'll give them quite a sort of specific plan just for them. It's quite a broad plan, so we basically hit everything. So in the initial 2 weeks, they're basically doing their little mobility program on their own. And then when we come to the workouts, they'll pick and choose a certain exercise that they need to help with that workout. Okay. Obviously, they've learned themselves. They can then, I need to do this one before I go into my deadlift session or into my squat session or whatever it's going to be. So again, this comes through education, but that's what everyone should be doing. Should be looking to a good guy to follow actually on social media is the Squat University. Okay. Not sure if you've seen that guy. I can't remember what his name is. He's got the book called The Squat Bible. He's got some really good mobility stuff on there.
That's
the same thing. Like basically, when you should be looking at sort of your mobility, your activations before you go into any workout, basically, and then just pick up sort of 3 main ones that you need, and then you go into your workout from there. But like I said, obviously it's one of the things we neglect a lot, even as PTs. Mm-hmm. We don't have a lot of time in our own sessions, even so. You're normally rushing between clients, trying to get your workout in. But that can be something that people often neglect. But always with my clients, trying to instill that as well.
I've neglected it since day one. And it's definitely something you should instill. And I feel the other thing is though, because like even listening to what you're saying about, trying to do progressive overload and do your sessions and then do your food and do your mobility, it all gets a little bit overwhelming, doesn't it? And what happens is people get so overwhelmed, then they think, oh, well, because I'm not feeling 100%, I'm not going to come in the gym or I'm going to start next week. And I think this all goes back to your original thing of adherence being the number one factor. So I don't know about you, but I'd much rather, you program this amazing workout with mobility, and I'd rather they just came in the gym if they didn't feel like it and just got in and just did anything, even if it was sub-maximal, and just said to you, I went to the gym, but it was a rubbish session, because you're at least then you're still ticking boxes. You're not breaking barriers, but you're still getting in, getting it done. Yeah, you didn't do your mobility this week, but next week we'll get it in.
I think that's why I don't obviously let it all in one go. That's over a couple of weeks. But obviously, like I said, it's laying down those foundations. So everything's really basic in the beginning, and then the best way to do any sort of program has to start simple, and then it'll move into complexity if you need to.
Yeah, you're making it nice and simple. Like three activations.
Focus on simple things. Get them doing those things first, and once then you saw each week or every 2-3 weeks, whatever, you start progressing, and then those progressions will come naturally. And it doesn't feel so harsh.
It links to people downloading plans online for free, and people asking what you're training like, what your nutrition's like. Oh, it's easy for you. Oh, you're lucky you can eat this, and you're thinking that's probably for you. I don't know, like 15 years of foundations that have been laid down. Someone's just getting into it when they're 40. They're not going to be able to. It's irrelevant what you're doing. Completely irrelevant. And quite often, I know my clients are more mobile than me because they haven't had X number of years of scar tissue building up. So they're often in a better place to start than I am.
Yeah, no, I enjoy training people who've never gone to the gym before, because they haven't got any mistakes for me to correct. Yeah, so they're basically just a blank canvas. So we can teach them the right way from the first time. So a lot of people who come into it, who've trained before, obviously got made mistakes, and obviously they've instilled a lot of bad habits, and they've instilled a lot of bad form and everything like that. That's obviously the tougher ones to try and correct. But if you are quite new to it, I'd say the best advice I can give you, if you are quite new to training, take the time, invest in learning from someone who knows what they're doing, because you're going to waste a lot of time having to correct things later on. So if you're looking at all the stuff on, like, there's a lot of crap on YouTube and on social media. Some dudes, I've even seen some sort of PT stuff, some of the stuff they're doing, some sort of inexperienced PT. Everyone's going to start somewhere, I suppose. But like some of the technique and stuff they are showing and stuff like that, it's really bad, man. So you need to make sure you are following the right people, and you are investing in your knowledge. So you have to focusing on learning how to do the things properly, how to do the movements properly, especially when it comes to training. Also applying proper nutrition principles to aid your workouts and obviously to help you progress. So if you are training very, very hard and you're not seeing changes, then you're just basically wasting your time, man.
Yeah, my advice for newbies would be that whole thing about ego, because when you first go to the gym, you normally go with your mate, or you know what someone else can lift, or what can you lift, and then you start, like you said, your tempo, your form, your technique goes, and you're just trying to lift heavier and heavier and heavier.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's very hard to reverse.
And we've all done that, I suppose. We've all been in that place starting off.
And you can't go lighter than what you've previously done. I still know the numbers in my head from when I was 18, and I'm still like, why can't I do that weight now? And I think, hang on, but I was half repping back then, or I don't know, I was swinging the weight, whatever it may be. And you can't reverse that, unfortunately.
Exactly, yeah. So a lot of it's ego lifting, hey? That's one of the biggest mistakes people make. So they're trying to go in there. If your goal is strength, then you should be pushing heavy weights.
This is the other thing, mate. It's the personal trainers. You've come from a background of strength conditioning and aesthetics. It's the personal trainers that seem to think this is the way you train, and you think, hang on a minute, but not everyone's got the same goal. This is the problem. Like, that's a great way to train for this goal, but not for that, which is why I know a lot of trainers then have their specialist area, because then you can say, this is what I am good at.
Yes, and that's what should be pushing, and say, okay, this is, if I'm training for physique and for hypertrophy, and that's how you should be doing. You should be following this amount of reps, this amount of sets, following that program, these splits, and that's it. If you're doing strength work, I know like Lee that works with us. He's working with the strength coach. And his goal now is trying to get strong. So he's following a proper strength program. He's obviously got all these workouts are periodized, everything like that. And that's what he's doing. So he's not training for aesthetics. Obviously, you can put some good muscle on whilst working in strength phase, but his goal is to shift that weight from A to B as efficiently as possible. It's not going to be a lot of muscle stimulus through that, because obviously
people want to see this. People you see people in commercial gyms, they're watching other people thinking, well, he's got big legs, that's how he's built them. And you're thinking, he may have built them bodybuilding, and now he's doing a different style of training. You might even be training for something completely opposite.
It's gone through a different phase. So you should always be phasing your training anyway. So you should go through a strength phase and then into hypertrophy, and obviously that your nutrition should match that as well. So
what about if you want to get if people asking for a friend, if someone wants to put on a load of muscle tissue, are you still recommending someone does a phased approach to that as well?
Yeah, of course, definitely. If you're not phasing it, then how you gonna know if you've achieved what you want to get to? Because if you are trying to build muscle tissue, you need to be in a surplus. Yeah, so you have to be tracking that. So you make sure you're tracking your food. You make obviously then you're tracking your movement to obviously bring your movement down. Also, you want to keep your body in a surplus. So you need to be tracking those things also. So to know if you are, and obviously tracking your weight to see if your weight's going up, tracking your physique, taking pictures to see if you are physically changing, getting bigger. So if you don't know, how are you going to know if you are changing? You can't just go and ask your buddy and say, listen, am I looking bigger? I haven't seen you for 6 weeks. So
pretty much what I said to my missus last week. I said, this sounds wrong, doesn't it? This better be going out late. I'm saying to my missus, do I look bigger? But no, genuinely, I was thinking, oh, she's not going to see me for a few weeks. I was like, if I don't turn up at her house and she's like, what the hell you put on size, I'll be fuming.
Yeah, so the person, people who see it the most probably wouldn't notice the differences. But yeah, like I said, to anyone who is trying to have a specific goal, you need to have a plan in place, and you have to be tracking it to make sure you're actually getting those results. And if you're not doing that, then why are you? People can't be training just in the gym just to
fun.
It's fun. I love training, but some people go in there. Obviously, they want to get bigger, and obviously they're looking to build their bodies, but they don't know why they're doing it, or how long they should be doing it for, or anything like that.
You're wasting literally hours, aren't you? That's the thing you've got to remember. So we got sidetracked again. So the to-do list, way, steps, or your neat program your training, and then your planned cardio, your purpose cardio. Yeah, so that'll either be steps, or they can be like sort of any form of cardio. So low intensity. It could be HIIT training also. Right. Big question: HIIT or LISS for fat loss?
Both are good, and both are dependent on your time, basically. So if you do have a lot of time, and you don't like doing like really sort of aggressive workouts where it's going to put you in a really uncomfortable place, then I'd say LISS is probably the best thing for you. Obviously, it's more efficient because or fat loss should be all about efficiency. Yeah. So if it's not efficient for you, it's cutting into your time, then you need to make it efficient, basically. Yeah. So then obviously LISS is going to be time constraining because you have to do it for a longer period of time. You'll be probably burning more calories, and it's more sustainable. It helps retain more muscle tissue because it isn't that demanding of muscle, because you're not going to be tapping into that sort of threshold or that energy that's into that phase where you have to use obviously muscle, because you are going to be in calorie deficit. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're doing HIIT training, if you do extended HIIT training, your body will tap into muscle tissue as a fuel source.
HIIT training is horrid when you're in a calorie deficit. It's horrid.
Yeah, it's tough. HIIT training stuff. Obviously, people want to do these crazy CrossFit workouts when they are trying to in a calorie deficit. It's not. I wouldn't recommend it.
It's awful, mate. I mean, everyone loves hard. Like army assault course. Everyone's like, oh, this is great. I love it. And you're like, yeah, you love it when you've eaten. Yeah. Try doing that when you're weak and hungry. It is hell. Like boot camps are horrid. That's how they break people on these like SAS Hell Week things. Let's just not feed them.
Yeah. They give them literally no food. That's actually yeah, of course. So, but obviously, fat loss should be efficient. Yeah. So basically, I would always prescribe either LISS or HIIT based on those things. So if it works for you and it's more efficient, If you don't have enough time, but you want to get a quick workout in, go do 10 rounds or 30 on, 30 off. And it's 10 minutes.
Whatever you can adhere to, really, I suppose it goes back to, which is...
Yeah, it comes out here. And so if you can't stick to the plan because the cardio is too long and too demanding, then let's rather switch it to HIIT training because it's quicker time. You're still going to get results. And you still feel like you're achieving, you're more likely to stick to it.
Yeah, makes sense. And anything else on your to-do list for the day after cardio? Probably nutrition.
All those points. That's all we hit.
Any nutrition or sleep or stress goals? Or?
I could also do, we it depends on what sort of we pick up out of the check-ins. So that app that I use, actually, it's got a habit training system in there. So you can slot in different habit coaching sort of tasks. So say one of the problems is you can't sleep, you're struggling with sleep because you're on your phone at night. So they actually have a little tab you can put in there. It's called the digital detox. So you can obviously just view that video during that day, and it goes through why. Okay, this is why. This is this. Obviously, a strategy to overcome this is by setting a. You know, with the iPhones now, you can set a little bedtime schedule.
Yeah.
It goes off after a certain time, and then you can't access it again. So something like that, and then that will create a habit around better sleep and stuff. So we all know sleep helps massively with everything. So if you are sleeping badly, it's probably going to affect what happens the rest of the day when you wake up. So if you're having a bad night's sleep, you probably are going to wake up very hungry. You're going to want to overeat. You're going to be moody as hell, and obviously it's going to really affect the rest of the day. But if you are sleeping well, you're getting enough recovery. Your body's gone through that repair process. You've got rid of all the cortisol. The next day you're going to wake up, you're going to feel amazing. You're not going to be ravenous, and you're more likely to stick to your plan that day. Because obviously we know that obviously bad sleep is it will affect the hunger hormones, and you are more likely to wake up next day. You are going to overeat basically. Right, so your habit training is one of the things you can track in your tasks. So your daily. So habit training also you can set custom goals and stuff. So it could be water intake or something like that.
That's a good one. Most people obviously don't drink anywhere near enough.
Yeah, so water is a big thing. We know how important water is. Water is important for performance, also recovery, all these different things, and for fat loss. So you can set a water target. Say, okay, when you wake up, I want you to drink 500 mils of water before you brush your teeth. And then, so we know you brush your teeth every day. That's a habit you have. So if you're drinking water before that, then that becomes a new habit basically, because then you stack those habits together. It's called habit stacking.
Yeah.
So I know that Ben Kowski did a podcast on that habit stacking.
And Atomic Habits, I think, is the same.
I
think I heard that podcast you were talking about. It's, you just tag one onto the other one, don't you? So it comes in.
Eventually you're building those things up. So even with me now, I've built up a habit where I'm so used to doing cardio after workouts, I feel like I haven't finished my workout until I've done my cardio. So because I've created that habit, so I've done my workout and then I do half an hour of cardio or 40 minutes, whatever it's going to be.
It becomes routine, doesn't it?
Routine, yeah. So it becomes part of your routine. So with your workout. So
that's my next question, Andre. So the big one for me was you've got all these systems in place and you've got all the knowledge and you're inspiring people and motivating them, but how on earth are you keeping them motivated? They hit a plateau, so their weight's just stalling, they're training hard, they're putting in the work, they're not seeing results after a while. How are you getting them to carry on towards to keep progressing?
So we need to obviously ask why they're not changing, why they're stalling. So obviously life happens.
This year, mate. Yeah, this is the good year to do it as an example.
I always try and lead by example for my clients. To try and keep motivating them, obviously, but everyone needs to go through tough times. But then obviously, I always say to them, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. If you aren't changing, if you need a break, let's have a break. So it's always good to start again. I had an online client a while back. She went through a very, very stressful time. She was struggling to stick to anything like that. I said, okay, fine, let's stop. Let's have a 2-week break. I changed to a meal plan, and then she had a 2-week rest. I put her back at maintenance calories. I gave her more food, and she felt happy. So she had a bit of a reset. I said, follow the meal plan as best you can. Don't stress about it, anything like that. She had a break. We started again, and now she's back on track. So sometimes it's good to stop, just pause everything, let things calm down, get your head straight, but always have that intention to get back into it again. there's no problem starting again at all, I would say. So the best way is, if you are reached a plateau, you need to obviously find out why, and ask yourself, okay, do I need a rest? What needs to change? Is it what's stopping me? Is it stress? Is it manage those things, and then put a plan in place to overcome them, or just have a bit of a break. And generally, if you are feeling that way, it is because you need a rest. It's always good to have a break. I'd say for every sort of 8-week or 12-week phase, you need to have a bit of a diet break where you are back at maintenance just for a little bit, just to get you have a break from that, and then you get back on track again.
What are you doing with the training over that period as well? That say like week of diet break, are you getting them to take a week?
Yeah, just say so you have a break from sort of. Obviously, depends what situation they're in, whatever. But I would just say try and keep your movement as high as possible. Go for walks, but it's more like therapeutic sort of stuff. So just get outside, get some fresh air, listen to a podcast, just have some time alone or away from whatever's stressing you out, and then. But obviously, just try and keep the habits there, but not complete just bed rest or anything like that. But just try and keep the things moving, but obviously just having a break from all the sort of tasks, basically.
And not smashing the gym as well, or
depends what situation. Like obviously depends whether you're in lockdown or not. But yeah, just having even with the training stuff, we just regress it down to about 3 times a week. Put up a deload phase.
Yeah.
Light weights. Just to keep things sort of keep your body working through it, and then get back into. But also again, it just depends on what stage the person's at. If they're quite novice or they're quite new into the program, it depends basically. But yeah, I always just advise having a bit of a rest. Deload phase is not bad. Obviously, we've done deload phases.
I hate them. I'm not gonna lie, I hate them. Like I go into the gym saying I'm gonna deload, and you just feel like you're arsing around with like light weights. For me, I think the only way I can do a deload is if I just go on a high volume session, like higher reps, lower weights, and I kind of just like do a bit of a circuit, get a bit of blood flow, bit of a pump. Otherwise, I can't do it.
Yeah, I suppose it depends on the person really, and how they're feeling. So if you are feeling proper wrecked and you need a break, you'll know, and you feel like, okay, I can't do anymore. I need to just back down a little bit. But it depends on the person. Depends where you're at. Depends how hard you pushed before.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people train that hard, do they? Really? I know it sounds a bit rude to be saying that, but I know even when I say I'm training hard, it's not that hard. Body's a tough thing. Like you've got to be battering it to be able to overtrain.
Yeah. So that's another thing. Yeah, it depends on if they're overtraining or not. Yeah, and obviously I always try and compare everyone to myself as well. Not that I feel like I train hard. I put everything into it when I have a workout. If you're not doing that, then like you need to ask yourself why I'm not doing that, basically. So if you feel like you do, if you've pushed really hard for yourself, I suppose everyone's different, hey. But if you feel like you've really
I'm a really harsh critic of myself, which is probably why I do what I do and how
if someone else doing training, they'll probably say that guy trains hard.
Yeah,
you would know for yourself if you are working out hard enough or not.
Yeah.
But you're very efficient. I've watched you train. You're very efficient with your workouts, and your body is so responsive. You can basically your body just built like a muscle building machine. You've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, a bit too long.
Pretty quickly.
Now it's stretching time. Right, before we go on to the questions that we've got, so we've got a couple of questions, then we'll wrap the show up. Anything else at all, mate, that we haven't covered about sort of training, nutrition that you want to touch on? We've taken a ton of information out of you.
Just main thing is just making sure that you are always going to basically make your goals are evolving, and you have something specific to work towards. Even if your intent wasn't there to start, and you said you got into a program and you just started seeing changes, make sure you are assessing and reevaluating your goals to keep progressing. If you're not reevaluating your goals, you're not setting new targets for yourself, that progression is going to stop pretty quick. So you need to make sure you are laying down sort of targets for yourself to keep working towards. And that's always try and tell my clients, that's exactly what people do when they go to work. They have performance reviews, they're doing appraisals and stuff like that. They have targets, they have deadlines, and that's how those companies run. That's how they make money and will do all these different things and stuff. And that's how they perform. So why not apply those same principles to your lifestyle and to your training? So that's all it is. But we do it in a lot simpler way. yeah, but you need to be doing that all the time. If you want to keep seeing changes, make sure you got a plan, make sure you are, and have something specific to work towards, and then always try and, just make sure you are achieving what you set out to achieve. Don't waste time.
Yeah, so set a goal, make a plan, and then adhere to the motherfucking plan.
Yeah, if you're on adhering to it, ask yourself why.
Mate, I love this. Just plan and just do it. I think it's something to do with the South African mentality, mate, because when I had Wes on here, it was the same. I think his motto was just get shit done. So I think it's...
Like, I suppose it is... I don't know what it is. A lot of South Africans think like, we just get shit done, really.
Yeah.
I know a lot of... Like, I've been in the UK for a while now, and I know the British guys, people do work hard, man. You guys work hard. But the one biggest thing I hate is, and the biggest thing the first time I heard this was when I got to the UK, is people saying they can't be bothered. That's I've never ever heard that in South Africa.
Yeah, I think the only time I've ever used it is when it involves me not doing something. So when someone says, "Oh, let's just go and watch a film," and I'm like, "I can't be asked." I genuinely seem to use it in the opposite way to most people.
I heard people say say, "Oh, to go for a workout, like, I can't be bothered."
It's not good. I'm doing the opposite. Yeah. Do you want to watch TV? I'm like, I can't be asked. That's when I use it, which is probably
that's probably the right way to use it.
It's better. I'd rather go and work out. Right. Some questions, mate. So, didn't get a ton. I don't know if you had many, but someone asked what your inspiration is, or your sort of favourite bodybuilder. So, we'll go for your inspiration. Who inspired you to get into fitness, or even to get into great shape?
Who inspired me? I do follow Ben Pakowski.
Yep.
He's got a big inspiration. Regan Grimes. I followed his whole thing.
So bodybuilders mainly, yeah.
See, I like Ben Pakowski. He's got a quite really good philosophy, not only with bodybuilding but also sort of mindset and coaching and health and well-being. So he looks at a bigger sort of...
he's into his meditation and breathing, isn't he? Very hot on his breathing.
Yeah. I think because when he did his comps, he was coached by he had that coach who was into like sort of those kind of things, and obviously he achieved insane results. He was massive. He was a big dude. But I like that sort of side of things. Obviously, for me, the inspiration was just to... for myself, I like pushing myself, and obviously I've always done something. So even done Tough Mudders. I've done 11 Tough Mudders.
11? What? Yeah. How did we miss this? So we have to do another podcast on this.
But obviously I did that for my clients. So basically we used to do it as a group, and we plan for these runs and stuff, and then we do all these different workouts and stuff, and then the end result would be that Tough Mudder. So we did a whole plan. I've always done the way we're trying to working towards something, basically.
With my question for you, what is the toughest thing you've done apart from competing or photo shoot prep? Was it a Tough Mudder or?
I did the overnight Tough Mudder. We did 8 hours overnight from 12 o'clock at night till 8 o'clock next morning.
Where's that?
We did that. I did that about 3 years ago. It was Europe's toughest Mudder.
What the? Oh.
That was killer, man. That was
What do you do? You run for how long, and then you go over what?
It's an 8K course.
Yeah.
And you do as many laps as you can.
How many do you do?
So I managed 4 laps.
There's an obstacle every kilometre, I'm guessing, or something. Is there?
There's 26 options. So basically, it's a full Tough Mudder set over that 8 mile course, or the 5 mile. I think it was 5 miles. So it's 8Ks, yeah. And you got to keep going like that, boom, 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 boom. And then the guy who won that, he did 10 laps that night.
Yeah, I was going to say, what did he get? And what gave up first? Was it your legs or your mind or your back?
My legs. I literally pushed. I came back. I did finish. I was starting my 4th lap, and I thought, okay, I just got to go now. And as I got past that start line, everything seized up. My hips seized up, back seized up.
I did
2 hours ever.
I did a Tough Guy, which was in January, and it was snowing, and you had to go in and out of water. And because I started at the back, I was out on the course for 3 hours, and they put you in and out of a river like 10 times near the start.
Yeah.
3 hours, and there was ice in parts of the lakes we were going in and out of.
Tough Guy, I've heard it. That's really hectic there.
It was the most horrific 3 hours of my life. If it was sunny, it would have been so much fun.
Yeah.
No.
I've done the best tough muddies I've done was the Henley one. It was like 28 degrees. It was amazing. It was so good.
Oh, mate, I did a 5 kilometre one in the dark in the Olympic Park, and it was great fun. 5 kilometres, I was over and done in 40 minutes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That was good. What's your favourite sport then? What did you used to play? Was it rugby, football?
Rugby is my favourite. Yeah, that's like religion back home.
I'm going to say.
So, yeah, big rugby player. Cricket. I like cricket. Played water polo.
That's easy with water polo. South Africans and water polo. Is that a big sport over there?
It's not as big as I think it's bigger. Yeah, I think it's bigger in Europe. But a lot of I use it for conditioning for rugby season basically.
The guy I know who's South African in a gym in Nuffield was water polo and rugby. So I didn't know.
Yeah, I think a lot of times we use it because there was go water polo and then rugby. So we used to use that before conditioning for rugby season.
Oh yeah, no, it's not. I wouldn't say it's very big in UK, if I'm honest.
Yeah, no, it's big in Europe, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe in Europe where they've actually go in the sea. We've got, what's this question? Cheat meals. Do you have cheat meals? I think
yeah. If I'm not prepping once a week, have a cheat meal, and that's the best way. That's another way, like going back to adherence, is allow yourself to have a free meal once or cheat meal once a week. That's probably the best way. If you have that something to work, I always even get my clients to plan their free meals. So it's the same way you plan your food.
Free meals.
I'll call it a free meal. Yeah. So one free meal a week, and I'll get them to plan it. So on the day they've done their meal prep, they've actually planned the end of the week what they're going to have. Nice. So you can have.
What's your go-to cheat meal?
A hamburger, of course. Burger.
Homemade?
A burger and then a waffle with ice cream.
A burger waffle.
A burger and a waffle.
No, just not a burger made out of waffles, no?
No. That's quite a good idea.
Is that homemade? Or are you going out for them? Or before, when you could go out?
Generally, going out or something like that, maybe. Or I enjoy cooking, so I'll make my own burgers. Because then you can stack it as long as you want. Man.
That's true. I'm crap at cooking. We've got, what is next for you? What's next on the...
So next year, I want to do one more show. I'm not like physique-wise, on physique comps and stuff like that. I know I'm not going to be winning any pro cards anytime soon, anything like that. But I'd like to see, I'd like to go into a show next year, one more, at least do one more. So I'm thinking March time.
Oh, soon.
Again, yeah, so next year, March. I think that they haven't released other dates yet. I know the first time is in March, but they haven't released dates for the other ones. But apparently in December, they're going to release dates. So that's my next sort of target to work towards. So I want to do a proper off-season prep now. So I'm currently going through a reverse diet. So I want to put some size on.
Start in end of December.
I've already started. I'm in my reverse now, dude.
You come back down.
Oh yeah, I do. We'll see how when that's going to. Obviously, working with my coach at the moment as well, so we'll find out how that's going to work. But we're waiting for dates basically. But next year, definitely do a show next year.
Nice. And the final question that I've got, I don't know if you've got any questions at all. The final one is: how many hours did you spend on the stair mill in your last prep?
On the Stairmaster.
Yeah.
Every day, I was doing an hour.
So times that by 7.
7 hours a week. My cardio was through the roof.
Oh God, you and that Stairmaster must have.
For me, that Stairmaster, that's quite therapeutic. I enjoy. I don't find it very difficult.
It's hot. The first time I did it, I did like 3 minutes. Then I did 5, and then I just said to myself, "I'm going to do 20" because I saw what you did. And after the first sort of 7-8 minutes, you just sort of forget you're on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I actually always go on my phone, so I do a lot of work. So I always do my Instagram, social media stuff on there. And the next thing you know, 40 minutes have gone past because you know how long it takes to do one post.
Are you sure you're not on it now?
If you get one, I'll get one, dude. I promise you.
Did you get any questions at all? You didn't put a poll up, did you?
No, I didn't get questions. No.
Fine. So, right, the final bit, mate. The most important questions. I've had to write these down because I've forgotten them already. The quick fire 5 for Andre. The most important questions of the lot. Are you ready for this?
Yep.
Right. Your favourite alcoholic drink?
I like a Corona.
Nice. Favourite food?
Steak.
Favourite body part to train?
It was shoulders, but I enjoy back my body part now. Back and biceps.
Dream job?
Dream job. I'm doing my dream job. But if I could have another dream job,
Yes, another one.
I would love to have the job that the guys do on Top Gear.
Oh, sick. What, actually presenting and driving?
Yeah, just drive those cars, man. I would love to be a test driver.
That'd be cool. You could be the Stig. The South African Stig.
If my job was just driving fast cars all day, that would be my dream job.
You could be a police officer, mate.
I don't. As soon as I find out from South Africa, they'll probably say no. Let me.
Yeah. And your favourite music to train to, and then we need 2 songs for the playlist.
Favorite music, I like a bit of everything. I'm not very fussy because obviously I'm a spin instructor as well, so I've got loads of variety of music. But
your own training.
Training-wise, heavy metal all the way.
Right, 2 songs, mate. You know, have you got 2?
Currently listening to actually it's a South African band called The Antwoord.
What? The what?
They're called The Antwoord.
How do you spell them?
So if you had to say it in English, it's Die Antwoord.
Right.
So Google, you go into your iTunes or onto Spotify, just Google Advert. The wicked music on them, man. Awesome tunes for training.
You got a favourite song from them?
All of them, all wicked. Enter the Ninja is probably a good one.
Was it called Enter the Ninja?
Yeah. If you try and find them, dude, you promise you watch their music videos.
Let's go Enter the Ninja, and then one other song from someone else or them, if you want.
Let me have a look at my iTunes quickly, see what I'm listening to. AC/DC, pretty good one. Oldie but a goodie.
What song would you like?
Back in Black.
Right, let's do that. Done. I don't think we've had that yet. Back in Black. Oh, mate, I forgot to do one thing. Sorry, I'm literally dying to go to the toilet at the same time. Right, I forgot to ask you because I did a whole podcast on it last week, and it was the most annoying things in the world. So one thing for the Gym Tonic bin that really just pisses you off that you want to just get rid of.
People on their phones when they're exercising.
What about on the stair mill?
No, only when if they're in between sets. If you're on Instagram, you shouldn't be in the gym.
So anyone between sets is on their phone in the bin.
Yeah, unless you're actually using your phone to track your workout or anything like that. If you're on Instagram or on YouTube, whatever, during between sets, you shouldn't be there.
So we should start a thing now. If anyone listening to this or watching this sees anyone on their phone between sets, not looking at exercises, just give them a slap.
Exactly, yeah. Because they're taking way too long recoveries and wasting around the time who's trying to achieve stuff.
That's what it is, mate. You do it between sets, you end up wasting like 5 minutes scrolling stories.
Watch a couple of people scrolling blindly in between sets. It does nothing.
Yeah, and you always say how many sets you got left. They go like 5, and they're just there.
They're like us going 10.
They're watching videos. You're like, come on, man.
They got any sort of intention or anything like that. So it doesn't nothing. So when people are there training and you have a specific thing to do, or you haven't got a lot of time, that's my pet peeve, man.
What about you? Like phones in the gym though? You're happy with that because they can check their workouts?
Yeah, as long as you're using it for something specific or for music, or you definitely always have music on when training as well. But if you're not using if you're scrolling between, it's not good. Either you are using your phone as a tracking tool to track your workouts. If you have like an app that's got a program on it or something, or if you're listening to music, then you shouldn't be on your phone in between sets.
I'll give you that one. I've got nothing, mate. I did about 50 last episode, so I'm literally all out. I'm all out. Right, final thing from you, Andre. Anything, your top tip for everyone to live their kind of best life? What's your kind of top takeaway?
Top takeaway is basically like removing, stop being a victim. Basically, if you think if you're having that sort of that mindset, if you're constantly thinking you're a victim, you need to obviously remove that sort of mindset. Obviously, specific words that victims use. The first word is like the need to, word can't, have to, try, and impossible. If you remove those words out of your vocabulary, you're probably going to be achieving a lot more.
Mate, I love that. The amount of people who come in, don't they, to gyms and don't even make it to the gym. They've always got a reason why. That's brilliant. So
Words are powerful, man. So if you are saying those things all the time, you're going to believe it, and that's what manifests in your life and your mindset. So if you stop using those words and use the opposites, then you're going to start. Basically, you are controlling. You are more powerful, and you're not allowing those words to take your power away. So whatever you are saying, whatever we know that mindset is or overcome anything. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger goes on about that all the time. Hey? Your mind controls what happens to the rest of your body, so how your body responds. So if you are using those negative words all the time, then you manifesting that negativity in everything you do, not just health and fitness.
Like that. Right, finally, where can everyone find you? What's your social media?
On Instagram, it's fusion_performance_training. You can find me on there, and also on Facebook, also Fusion Performance Training. I've got a Facebook page on there.
Yeah, links will be below.
Wicked.
I'll put you there. Awesome. Thank you very much for coming on, Andre. Absolute
Thanks
pleasure.
for having me, dude. Appreciate it.
Lot of info. I'll let you sign the show off, mate, with whatever you want. You can be in South African if you want. Don't care.
Have a good one, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. And like I said, if you need help, just drop us a message. And we're obviously happy to help you in any way I can.